Today, we're diving into a book that's less of a business manual and more of a high-stakes thriller. It's Eliyahu Goldratt's classic, The Goal. It's all about a plant manager who has just 90 days to save his failing factory, and honestly, the lessons he learns are foundational for anyone who's serious about getting real results.
So, does this sound familiar? Your team is maxed out, everyone's putting in the hours, looks super busy, but the numbers just aren't moving. For any leader, any entrepreneur, this is probably one of the most frustrating feelings in the world.
And this is where we get to the core idea of the goal. The book's big argument is that the problem is almost never a lack of effort. It's a lack of focus. Real success doesn't come from just doing more stuff. It comes from doing the right stuff, targeting the one thing that's actually holding you back.
Okay, so first things first. We have to completely change how we think about productivity. The book really makes you confront this uncomfortable truth about how we measure our own work and our team's work.
You know, this mistake is so common, it's almost universal. We see people typing furiously, we see calendars full of meetings, and we just assume that means progress is happening. But Goldratt's point is sharp. Unless all that activity is directly helping you achieve your ultimate goal, it's not just useless, it's actually getting in the way.
Now, to make this idea really land, Goldratt uses this simple, brilliant story that I promise you will never forget. It's the key to his whole theory of constraints.
So picture this. You've got a line of Boy Scouts hiking on a trail. Our story is all about this one kid. His name is Herbie. And Herbie is the slowest hiker in the entire troop. So the troop has to stay together, right? They're moving in a single file. And what that means is, it doesn't matter how fast the kid at the front of the line can run, the entire troop can only move as fast as its slowest member, Herbie. The pace of the whole system is set by him.
Herbie is the bottleneck. And in your business, your Herbie could be anything. It could be a person who has to approve everything, an old piece of software, or maybe a department that's just swamped. It's that one single part of the whole system that sets the speed for everything else.
Okay, so to fix your bottleneck, you need a new way to measure success. Goldratt basically says, forget all that complex accounting stuff, you only need to track 3 simple, super powerful numbers.
Number 1 is throughput. Simple. It's the rate you generate money through actual sales. Number 2 is inventory. That's all the money you have locked up in stuff you plan to sell. And number 3, operational expense. That's the cash you spend to turn your inventory into throughput. Suddenly, the goal is crystal clear. You have to increase throughput while you push the other 2 down.
You know, this framework just brings so much clarity. Before you start any new project or initiative, you just have to ask one question. Does this thing improve these specific metrics? If the answer is no, then according to Goldratt, it's just noise. It's being busy, not doing business.
All right, so armed with this new way of looking at things, the goal gives you a clear step-by-step process for making improvements. This isn't about guesswork. It's about applying a scientific method to how you operate.
This 5-step loop is basically the engine for getting better and better. First, find your Herbie. Second, exploit it. That means you squeeze every last bit of performance out of it without spending a dime. Third, you subordinate everything else. The whole system's job is now to support that bottleneck. Fourth, if that's not enough, you elevate it. This is where you invest money to improve it. And here's the key. Once you fix one constraint, a new one is going to pop up somewhere else. So you go right back to step 1. It never stops.
Of course, we have to keep a balanced view here. The core ideas in this book are absolutely brilliant, but the book itself isn't perfect. So its greatest strength, for sure, is the format. Learning these lessons through a story makes them so much easier to understand and remember. The big downside, though, is its age. It was written back in 1984, so all the talk about factory machines and smokestacks can feel a little off if you're working in, say, software or a service business. But, and this is so important, don't get hung up on the examples. The logic underneath it all is totally timeless. A slow code review process? That's a bottleneck. A confusing customer onboarding experience? That's a bottleneck. These principles really do apply everywhere. And that leads us to the final and most important question. What is your Herbie? What is the one biggest thing holding you, your team, or your whole company back right now? What is that one lever that if you pulled it, would unlock progress for the entire system?
So the takeaways from the goal are incredibly clear. Stop confusing busyness with actual progress. Find your single biggest constraint. Measure every decision against how it impacts throughput, inventory, and operational expense. And then use that 5-step process to just relentlessly get better, one bottleneck at a time.
I've put a link to the book and a few other key resources down in the description for you. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the frameworks that really drive success. I'll see you in the next one.